Back-to-back losses on the road for the San Antonio Spurs. They fall to the Los Angeles Lakers 118-116 in that final score. Indicative of the kind of game we had. Chris Miles here with you for Spurs Live here at Crypto.com Arena. And it was a nail-biter, a game that came down to the wire. The Spurs, they had an explosive third quarter and took the lead. They were up by 8 going into the fourth. But let's get down to business and how it came to an end. Down by 4, Devin Vassell had a look. Then another one after the offensive rebound. It's Stephon Castle. He came up short. Olynyk gets the offensive rebound again and gets the bucket. Down by 2. Now watch Marcus Smart. Never gets all the way out of bounds. His left foot still in bounds. So that's a turnover. More life for the Spurs. Keldon Johnson can't get it here. But another opportunity with 0.4 left on the clock. Julian Champagnie tries to catch the alley-oop. He's fouled by Jake LaRavia, but he misses the free throws, and that's how this one ends. Luka Doncic with a magnificent game, and the Lakers win 118-116. And you know, Jacob and Sean, they were on the call. Fellas, it felt like after Victor Wembanyama fouled out, the Spurs still had some opportunities to come out with this win.
Yeah, it's a tough one, and they were great in the clutch so far to start the year. And you mentioned it off camera, too, off mic. Luka Doncic, 17 free throws attempted in this game, 13 of 17. He's so tricky, and he always baits you. He always tries to get you in that spot.
And that's what I said in the pregame show. You got to be smart with Luka Doncic. It's not just that he got to the foul line 17 times. It's when he gets inside of you and he's throwing lobs to Jackson Hayes and DeAndre Ayton because you have to step up with that second defender. And so he's a guy that, yes, you have to be aggressive with him, Jacob, but you also have to know how to peel it back and not pick up cheap fouls, give him wide open shots, or get him to the foul line. And he's a master at doing that. And so the guy's a brilliant passer. Let's set the table for his teammates. This was a huge three-point ball. He knew exactly what he wanted to do with it once he got inside Steph Castle. Nice little step back. But again, it's a learning experience for our young group. When you're defending a guy like that, you can hound him in the backcourt. You can get up on him, but none of this, no reaching. Don't get caught up wrestling with him. Get your arms into him. He's too smart for that. So you've got to learn from that experience. And then when he gets inside of you as well, when he gets a shoulder inside of you, the help defender has to step up. And next thing you know, he's throwing lobs. He's just too good a player to make defensive errors against. And so tonight he plays a terrific ball game. It sets the table for Jackson Hayes. DeAndre Ayton caught, I don't know how many lobs.
A couple lobs.
Yeah, he just, pulled himself up to the table and he was able to feast courtesy of Luka Doncic. So Luka was the difference in this game. I thought our guys did a pretty good job on him. They came with the right approach, but with a guy like that, you really have to be locked in all facets on the defensive end.
And if people just tune into the game and see the missed free throw by Champagnie, they're going to be like, oh, that's the reason why they lost. That's really not the reason why they lost. You mentioned that's a tough free throw in clutch situation. Your heart's racing.
That's so hard. Yeah, you're trying to put the right amount of touch on it. When he missed it long, that's kind of what you expect because you're jacked up. Your nerves are going. You're hyped up. You don't want to leave it short. You want to give it a chance to go in. And so naturally you shoot the free throw a little long.
Yeah. The last time 3 players fouled out in the same game for the Spurs, November 1997 against Utah. And I told you that during the break, and you said, oh, I might have been one of them.
I might have been. Didn't like playing against the Jazz.
Well, we'll try to check the record books before the post-game show's over.
Let's not. Yeah.
Maybe let's not. Chris, we'll send it back to you.
That.
I mean, you got to talk about the grit with this team, right? 3 guys, like you said, fouled out. No Dylan Harper, no De'Aaron Fox. Still, it came down to the wire. Still, the Spurs had a chance at the final buzzer. Couldn't get the job done. They fall again, 118-116. Your final score, still 7 Spurs scored in double figures, including one, Devin Vassell. Almost hit one more shot to give the Spurs the win. So the San Antonio Spurs fall to 5-2 on the season. Despite the loss, it was a balanced scoring attack. You had every starter score 14 or more points, and you had 7 players score in double figures. So really a valiant effort from everyone across the board on the scoreboard. But Here it is. Look at it. Victor Wembanyama leading away with 19. Stephon Castle, an overall outstanding game across the stat sheet. And Jeremy Sohan in his first game of the season, 16 points. Keldon Johnson continuing his excellent year off the bench, 12 points in this one. But you know, Jacob and Sean, it was down the stretch. Spurs just could not make the plays to pull out the win, and now it's back-to-back losses.
Yeah, I think when you look at the final stat sheet, it's turnovers and second chance points that really did you in tonight.
Yeah, so if you're a Spurs fan, you don't fret. Because if you have De'Aaron Fox, you have Dylan Harper, this could be a completely different ball game. It is a different ball game.
Yeah.
And I told you during the break, the other guy was Luke Cornett, because he's going to clean up a lot of both ends of the court on the glass. He's just going to clean it up. And so you're going to have a lot less second chance points from the Lakers, and you're going to have more offensive rebounding opportunities when he's out there on the floor. And so, yeah, our guys aren't healthy. You take on a Laker team that doesn't have LeBron. They don't have Austin Reeves. But if our guys are healthy against their guys healthy, I like our chances.
Yeah, you take a look at the final stats. They shot the three ball well tonight, but again, your eyes are just going to go to those turnovers and those second chance points. But 13 threes for the Spurs. Only that one block from Victor tonight. He goes 92 straight games with a block. The bench came in, was good. Sohan had a great start to his season coming back from the wrist injury. But again, those turnovers and those second chance points.
And way too many free throws. Yeah, turnovers were a killer for sure. Second chance points. Free throws a few times, fouling guys far away from the basket, giving the Lakers ample opportunities when they're in the bonus. And so, again, lots of little things to clean up, and little things at the end of the game piled up and unfortunately ended up in a loss.
So now you look ahead. Friday, it's a Houston team that is the tallest team in the league, a ton of length, a ton of size. Mm-hmm. Victor's going to have to go up against the likes of Steven Adams down low, who's always a bruiser. It's going to be a tough task. But you're back at home, which is great, but it's the first night of a back-to-back as well.
Yeah, the Rockets are one of the better teams in the Western Conference. I mean, they've got a ton of talent pretty much everywhere. They're going to come after you defensively. Ime Udoka's done a fantastic job coaching that ball club. And so this is going to be another test for our guys. Fortunately for them, they're coming home. We're going to have 18,000 plus that are going to be excited. Prop A and B passed.
Yes.
And so our guys are exciting. So they've got to draw the crowd in early on, and they've got to play a near perfect ball game.
And maybe just to put a bow on that as well, again, the celebration that was had last night in San Antonio, the fact that there's going to be a new arena downtown, that's just going to jolt this city for the next couple of weeks here and months and even years ahead as the planning starts, right?
Yeah, a huge win for the city. Obviously, we've talked about it at length. Just takes us to another level. So, yes, thank you, San Antonio, for getting that passed. Now our guys are going to go to work figuring out what exactly they're going to do. And I can't wait to see what goes on downtown. I can't wait to see what downtown looks like in the next 10 years. It's going to be amazing.
November 8th, 1997, Spurs and Jazz. Timmy fouled out. Big Dave fouled out.
Corey
Alexander fouled out, so it wasn't you.
I kept my hands to myself.
You did. And you led the team in minutes. You played 40 minutes that night. How many times did you play 40 minutes?
A lot.
Yes.
Yes, a lot. You have to go look at that. I'm going to put you to work.
All right.
Go do your homework.
All right. I'm going to leave here and go do my homework instead of going to get something to eat. Chris, send it back to you.
Sean, I'm just glad you're not one of the people that fouled out in that game way back in 1997. You know, the Spurs wish that Victor Wembanyama did not foul out in this one. Some questionable calls on those offensive fouls on him, but Victor Wembanyama did bounce back. 9 points against the Suns, 19 in this one, and some plays like this, playing above the rim. Spurs did score 37 points in that third quarter to take an 8-point lead going into the fourth. We'll hear from Mitch Johnson next.
They actually were a little bit more locked in, I guess, but we still had some real punishable miscues that really put us in a bind there that didn't make them earn some points when we put them on the foul line and just breakdowns.
How do you get Wemby untracked offensively?
He'll be fine. We need to get him the ball in better spots. We need to get to our starting spots earlier. He needs to be more demonstrative and demand the ball. When he doesn't, he should yell at everybody in the gym, including his teammates and myself, and he'll be fine. We'll be better.
How did you see him navigate and adjust through the fouls?
Say it again.
How did you see him navigate and adjust through the foul trouble?
I thought he did a good job for the most part. It was a funky game. There was a lot of fouls. It was a physical game, so it was hard to get a beat on what some of his fouls. It felt like it was just kind of wrong place, wrong time. Sometimes it felt like people, Marcus Smart looked like he launched himself into him. I didn't see it. I don't know. We didn't challenge it, so I'm not saying it was or wasn't a foul. But it was just a tough game, but I thought he did well. I thought he showed glimpses again when he had the ball. He was patient. We got to our spots. He got whatever he wanted. Missed a couple shots, made some shots, got some free throws. We didn't deserve to win. There's too many decisions that we made that weren't sharp enough and too much execution that had too much slippage, but we'll be better.
For his first game back, do you like what you got out of Jeremy?
I thought Jeremy was great. It's great to see him, Kelly, and Lindy. We needed him, obviously, tonight. His energy, defensive presence was awesome, and it was just good to have guys back.
With Steph kind of having to step up, do a little bit more of the facilitation himself, more turnovers, is that just part of the trade, or is that something that, he's going to have to continue to balance and work on?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he had more creation tonight. He's been doing it all year. So I think obviously 6 turnovers is too much, and he'd agree with that. And again, there's times whether we're on a run or it's a certain point in the game, but some of the turnovers are just inappropriate and unacceptable, and we'll have to be better at that. All possessions aren't created equal.
When you talk about getting the ball to Wemby in his spots, obviously they're playing physical. They're trying to push him out, doubling at the catch. Where are the spots that you're trying to get him the ball?
I think it is a game-to-game deal in terms of sometimes where they put their extra bodies and whatnot. But I do think when we have appropriate spacing around him, anywhere, whether that's at the nail, the elbow, the block, off the block, when we have appropriate spacing and we give enough time, sometimes when we don't get there early enough, then we're running up against the clock, and that double can make you a little bit frantic. And I think when we get him the ball in the right spots and he demands the ball, right, as they're being physical, he can't let them push him out. And, I think there was a time even at the end of the first half where he dropped his shoulder and there's a foul on them. And that's going to be something he's going to have to continue to do to set a tone, because if they're not going to protect him, he's got to protect himself at some point.
How did it look for Foxy Cornet coming back short?
I hope so. They're close. Yeah, we're looking forward to bringing guys back.
Mitch, late in the game, it seems like Wemby in the pick and roll would be pretty effective, but obviously they stack a lot of bodies behind him. So what's the reason to not go to the pick and roll and put him in the post, and what would you guys need to do differently to be able to free him up to move around more late in the games?
It was they were just switching everything and put bodies in the paint, so there was nowhere to roll. So we just need to give him the ball in space, and then at some point they got to make a decision if they're going to guard him 1-on-1 or put 2 on him, and then we got to play off him.
It's been a tough time on the road. The San Antonio Spurs, they return to home for a game on Friday against the Houston Rockets, who also have a 5-2 record. And we know Victor Wembanyama going to face off against Kevin Durant, Amen Thompson, and the Houston Rockets, who also have great aspirations for this season. They went all in by getting Kevin Durant. That game, of course, going to be on Amazon Prime. And so for the San Antonio Spurs, started the season 5 consecutive wins, had a great third quarter where they scored 37 points, took an 8-point lead in this one, but down a stretch, 3 crucial guys fouled out. Remember, they were playing without De'Aaron Fox, without Dylan Harper, but Jeremy Sohan looked good in his return with 16. 7 different players in double figures, all 5 stars with 14 or more. Can they build on that momentum next time out against the Houston Rockets? We'll find out on Friday. Thanks for hanging out with us here on Spurs Live.